Hi there. My name's Songbird. Welcome to the vault. They lied about Roswell, about the visitors. They're still lying. All part of the biggest, dirtiest, most far-ranging conspiracy of all time. That's like ever. And over the course of this series of transmissions, I'm gonna prove it to you. It's all here in the files. Don't go anywhere. This is full disclosure. All the way. And tonight we're talking Roswell. The beginning. The day the Earth was touched by an otherworldly hand, as at least one of the files has it. And I guess it's a pretty neat way to sum up such a history-defining event. Especially when you think about what really happened out there. Okay, let's dive straight in and pick up where we left off. As I mentioned last time, tonight we're talking what another of the files describes as the single most standout event in modern history. And once you get a heads up on what the files reveal about that fateful night back in June 1947, what really happened there, why, and what it means for the future of humankind and the planet, my guess is you'll agree it was an event incomparable with just about anything you could imagine. Except maybe the time that other extraterrestrial visitor amazed all present when he jumped down off the cross and sprang back to life. That was for sure an event that changed the world. Then again, as time will undoubtedly tell, so was Roswell. Roswell, then. Whatever you think you know about it, whatever you've been told or read about it, listen up. According to the files, here's what actually happened. The year is 1947. The dust has yet to settle on World War II, and that includes the nuclear fallout from the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's also the year that sees the birth of the Cold War, with tensions between America and the Soviet Union fast escalating, and the threat of nuclear Armageddon looming larger by the day. The race to be bigger, better, stronger, first, more streetwise than the other guy, more deadly. It's a race that's quite literally mushrooming. Unintended. Little wonder the world is on high alert, not least the US military, even more so when the UFOs turn up. Hundreds of them, literally. During the summer of 1947, there were more UFOs than storm clouds sighted in American skies, disc-shaped objects mostly, and as a result, a wave of what the hell hysteria swept the US. Like what the hell were these strange objects invading American airspace, seemingly at will? Were they Russian? Alien? Some form of new super advanced technology? One thing is clear. Whatever they were, they elicited an immediate and decisive response from the military. Fighter aircraft were scrambled on a daily basis, their intention to intercept the UFOs and send them back from where they came. But it was a futile exercise. The craft were too fast, the technology propelling them too advanced for the relatively primitive military jets to have any chance at all of matching their seemingly impossible maneuverability. Even the pride of the US war machine, the P-51 Mustang fighter jets, struggled to keep pace with the lightning-fast UFOs, and many were lost in pursuit of these strange alien phenomena. The most famous case in point was that of Captain Thomas F. Mantell Jr., who was killed when his P-51 Mustang crashed while chasing what he described as a metallic object of tremendous size, above and ahead of me, moving at my speed or faster. Mantell's last words were, "I'm trying to close for a better look." He never did get a better look, or if he did, he didn't live long enough to describe what he saw. The UFO was too high up in the atmosphere, and the lack of oxygen up there caused Mantell to lose consciousness. Moments after his final transmission, Mantell's P-51 fell from the sky and crashed, killing him instantly. Initially, the military claimed that what Mantell had mistaken for a UFO was the planet Venus, but realizing how flimsy this explanation sounded, they later changed their story and claimed he died chasing a high-altitude unmanned balloon. Ring any bells? It should. This wasn't the first or the last time the military would try and hornswoggle us all with the high-altitude balloon cover story in relation to UFO sightings. We'll come to the mother of them all in a little bit. For the record, here's what was documented in the files about this incident. As you can see, this classified cosmic top-secret U.S. Air Force report is explicit in revealing a cover-up. It's dated January 11th, 1948, 4 days after Mantell's death, and it says, considering Captain Mantell's description of the object, in particular its vast size and extremely high altitude, that he encountered a visitor mothership cannot be ruled out. Right there, black and white. It goes on to say this: weight is given to this conclusion by the fact that our radar could not detect the object, implying a stealth technology currently beyond our understanding and capability. And before you roll your eyes and curse the skies, take a look at this. This file's dated January 18th, 1948, precisely 1 week after the first report. It's an internal memo instructing the Air Force Public Affairs Office in the implementation of what it terms an information leak to the public. Look, here. It says, such claims that Mantell's aircraft may have been shot down, though evidentially untrue, should be covertly promoted publicly by innuendo and rumor. Worth saying again. Such claims that Mantell's aircraft may have been shot down, though evidentially untrue, should be covertly promoted publicly by innuendo and rumor. What this is saying is that, while publicly denying the claim, rumors that Mantell could have been shot down by a visitor mothership should be covertly leaked into the public domain to foster fear and panic, make people think the visitors are a threat to national security, when in reality, as this same memo also states, loud and clear, to date, the visitors have shown no sign of aggressive behavior. Disinformation right there. Propaganda. Lies. Written up in black and white and then squirreled away down here in the vault out of sight. Flagrant abuse of secrecy protocol. Disinformation. We'll unpick these tactics in more detail as we progress. They use them a lot. Keep the military in control. Name of the game. But as the file stated, loud and clear, to date, the visitors have shown no sign of aggressive behavior. This point is mighty significant. It says everything we need to know. I mean, in all probability, the visitors have been here longer than we have, something the files state unambiguously and something we'll be microscoping in some detail moving forward. Certainly begs the question why the military, and by extension the authorities, should wish the visitors to be perceived as a national security threat. To date, the visitors have shown no sign. To date, the visitors have shown no sign of aggressive behavior. I mean, come on. If the visitors were here for some pre-planned invasion or land grab, surely they would have done it by now. Surely they would have done the dastardly deed long before we had the means to fight back. Wouldn't they? Come on. To recap then, having claimed in 1948 that Mantell had seen nothing more than the planet Venus, 4 years later in 1952, the Air Force finally realized how dumb their explanation was, so they came up with an even dumber one. Yep, you got it. What Mantell had actually seen was a high-altitude Project Skyhook spy balloon, as this next statement taken from the official Air Force archive shows. Here you go, straight from the source. In light of new evidence, it is now understood that what Captain Mantell encountered was in all likelihood a high-altitude Project Skyhook spy balloon. The planet Venus explanation has thus been officially withdrawn due to, wait for it, Venus having not been bright enough for Mantell to have seen it on the night in question. You couldn't make it up. Anyway, given that Mantell radioed in to say that the object was moving at my speed or faster, it makes this balloon explanation all the more batshit. I mean, when was the last time you saw a helium-filled balloon busting a gut across the sky at 500 miles an hour? Yeah, that's what I figured. We should take into account here that Mantell's fatal encounter occurred on January 7th, 1948, by which time UFO fever had swept the United States and the term flying saucer had well and truly embedded itself in the American lexicon. It had been coined by the US media 6 months earlier, in June 1947, when a search and rescue pilot by the name of Kenneth Arnold spotted 9 disc-shaped objects flying in formation close to Mount Rainier in Washington state, at a speed he estimated to be at least 1,700 miles an hour, more than twice the speed of the world's fastest aircraft at that time, and many times faster incidentally than even the most turbocharged military spy balloon. Just saying. When quizzed on the sighting, Arnold reported that the objects moved as a saucer would if it was skipped across the water, a quote that was broadcast nationwide and plastered across every front page of the national press. The term flying saucer was born. It's worth mentioning here that, at the time of the sighting, Arnold had notched up more than 4,000 hours of what he called mountain high-altitude pilot time. By anyone's reckoning, that's a long time in the sky. A lot of search and rescue missions. Matter of fact, he was on a search and rescue at the time, looking for the wreckage of a military aircraft, a C-46 transport plane that had crashed into Mount Rainier with 32 Marines on board. Arnold never did find the wreckage, but he sure as hell saw something back-asswards that day. As he said himself, it was the darndest thing I ever saw. I was familiar with most civilian and military aircraft. This wasn't one of ours. This wasn't one of ours. This wasn't one of ours. Seemed pretty damn sure about that. Nor was he the only one to see these strange phenomena. Within days of Arnold's encounter, more than 1,000 flying saucer sightings were reported in more than 40 states across America. That sure is a lot of balloons right there. But joking aside, it was an unprecedented number of sightings, you gotta admit. But even this level of UFO hysteria paled to virtual oblivion by comparison with what happened next. Because what happened next was Roswell. The day all 4 members of an extraterrestrial special reconnaissance unit died, according to this file here. This same file even discloses that the reconnaissance craft in question was not alone when it crashed, but was part of a small detachment or squadron, although the total number of craft involved is not stipulated. The file goes on to say that this particular flypast was one of multiple such flypasts made by the visitors in the years leading up to the Roswell crash. The reason given is, some of the text here has been redacted as you can see, but we can still make out, yeah, here look. These flypasts are clearly monitoring closely our secret facilities, then redacted, then something, then increase in flypasts evident since Trinity. Hot juice, that's some statement right there. The craft that came down in the New Mexico desert near Roswell in 1947 was not alone, it says, but was part of a small detachment or squadron of visitor craft that, I think this is what the file is in effect saying. The crashed craft was part of a small squadron of visitor craft that made regular flypasts over the area to monitor our secret programs there. And you gotta say, it kinda makes sense. I mean, look, there's Los Alamos here, Los Alamos National Laboratory, the birthplace of the atomic bomb. There's Sandia Base too, just down the road, what is now Kirtland Air Force Base, but what in 1947 was Sandia, central to the Manhattan Project and America's main atomic weapons installation. Then there's Manzano Nuclear Special Weapons Storage Site, as well as White Sands Proving Ground and the notorious Trinity Site where the world's first ever atomic test was carried out. Increase in flypast evidence since Trinity, the file said. If that ain't shouting at you like a pumped up prophet Ezekiel, you might as well leap off the edge right now. I mean, all these installations are less than a spit in the wind from one another. And there's another base here too, and at the time of the Roswell crash, it's the only atomic-ready combat facility in the world. That's right, in the world. It's the facility that houses the 509th Composite Bomb Group, the elite bomb group to which the Enola Gay belonged. I'm sure y'all know this, but I'll spell it out here for the avoidance of doubt. The Enola Gay was the B-29 Superfortress bomber aircraft that dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima in 1945. The B-29 that dropped the bomb that changed the world and called the visitors in. and it was kept here at the base I'm talking about. None other than Roswell Army Airfield. Yeah, that Roswell. This can't be coincidence. So according to the files then, it was the atomic program, our nuclear ambition, that was attracting all the visitor interest here in New Mexico in 1947, and in the years leading up to 1947 too. Fact is, we had just made the biggest, most deadly scientific breakthrough in human history, and we had chosen to use the knowledge we gained from that breakthrough not in an awe-inspiring or forward-thinking way, but in anger. We chose to weaponize it, a fact that might still come back to bite us. As the files confirm, it was this that shook the visitors up. Roswell was a pivotal moment in our history then, in our relationship with each other, with the visitors, and ultimately with the stars. It was either the birth of a new dawn or the beginning of the end. Our choice. There, I said it. They don't call me cosmic for no reason. So look, what I've said so far in these first 3 transmissions, in particular about the authority and the US government's contact with the visitors, it all lays a kind of working background to what the files will disclose moving forward. True, certain elements within the government and the military-industrial complex, and of course the authority, have known about the visitors for some time. But so far as we're concerned, Roswell marks the beginning of our interaction with them, and the start at least of what we can loosely term the UFO era, or to use today's official terminology, the UAP era. I'll tell you now, I don't like that term. UAP rubs me down uneasy. I'll tell you why another time. But whatever terminology you feel best with, hang in there. Because this is where things start to get interesting. This is where we hail the cab and drive deeper in for full disclosure on the Roswell file. Dang. Sorry folks, gotta deal the deuce and chase the moose before my location ID gets posted all over CIA Central. Roswell, the fake balloon story next time. Can't wait to see you for that. Meantime, don't forget to subscribe and hit like and leave a comment and all that stuff. And if you're wanting some backstory on me, there's a video by that name somewhere on the channel. Check it. It'll tell you all you need to know. Okay, I'm out. Stay alive. I'll be back.